Hello again, here is one more episode from iMentor Cloud, and this time I will be doing the review for CompTIA Security Plus. And most of the students ask me where to start if they want to start a career in security. Generally speaking, I like CompTIA's overall syllabus, and it's something they are very structured, and it's my own independent review. They don't pay me, and I never took any certification in my career, but for the last few months or so, I've been speaking and getting the feedback from the students they wanted to know, so I looked at it, and they seems to be pretty structured, because if you go Google and YouTube, you'll find the stuff, but not in a structured way. So that's why I decided to do Security Plus. However, if you're starting your career, you definitely want to know A plus, and you also wanted to learn Network Plus, because these are the places or the environment that you will be going to apply security. So without having underlying or baseline knowledge of operating system, how do they work, and the networking, I think it will not add that value. So in my personal opinion, based on the experience I have from the industry, I would suggest you to have a good knowledge of operating system and network, and this is where you apply these security controls and policies. So let's move on. So there is an exam. You can read the exam details, development and all that stuff, but I'll go directly to the objective and see what's my advice on that, because if you look at pretty much all these areas, 20%, 1% on threats, technology and tool 20%, architecture and design, and identity access management 50% each, and the risk and cryptography 14 and 12% respectively. So threats, attacks, and vulnerabilities are pretty important, especially these days. There are a lot of attacks related to ransomware, email phishing. These kind of attacks are common, but again, that list is pretty good. Then will give you how to analyze an indicator of compromise or IOC. So that's pretty good. Compare and contrast type of attacks. As you can see, there's a huge information available. As I said, email phishing right there at the top, so you cannot ignore this. Pretty common these days. DDoS, you need to understand these type of attacks, very common, but usually infrastructure and cloud, they do take care of them. But still, if you're on this side of security, you gotta have proper understanding of all these type of attacks, and you definitely need to learn and understand. And here are some more on top of that. And then comes to the penetration testing concept. So looks like they're going to cover the concept, not to do penetration testing itself, I believe, and for that reason you can take another course. But as long as you have the concept, there you can learn vulnerability scanning and penetration testing. There's a significant difference, and also the cloud provider, they allow you to do that, so this course pretty much covers whether it's a cloud or not. It's a typical cybersecurity, but these concept, if you wanted to know, look for career in security, it's a must-have. And about vulnerability scanning concept, usually you do with some free tools, or if you work for a large corporation, there are some third-party tools. You can use them like Rapid7 and Qualys, and there are so many other companies they offer. So it depends where you land with your job. And here are like what are the impact of these vulnerabilities, how they're connected, because depending on our operating system, if there are any vulnerabilities, what could be the problem. So that's why you need to understand the impact, and there is some website which you can go and look for vulnerabilities basically whenever they arrive. It can be daily, it can be weekly, depending on what product you have in your environment. So that's important. And you sign up for those websites and mailing list so get the updates. So that's very important, especially these days, because there's every day there are something found on those environments. Technology and tool, as you can see, it's covered pretty much around all those software and hardware. I'm not sure would that need any hands-on, I'm not sure, but from the concept, as you can see, firewall, router, SIEM is pretty good. Security incident and event monitoring is very common these days. It's in demand from career point of view. So yes, do invest some time in that. There are some third-party free tools available in that. DLP, data loss prevention, because of cloud, this is also important. So you gotta have a good understanding about DLP, access point, Wi-Fi, proxy, all that stuff. And yeah, VPN, firewall, but SIEM, DLP, mail gateways, TLS, encrypted emails are pretty important. Software tools, protocol analyzer, you will always need that in your job. Network scanner, very common. Vulnerability scanner, very common. So all that stuff, so far so good. It's pretty awesome. Syllabus, I would definitely recommend if you are looking or pursuing your career in security. You cannot go wrong with that. And the beauty is that it's also it's not a vendor specific, right? So once you learn all these things here, then you can take a next step towards any vendor, whether it's a Microsoft, Azure, or AWS, or even Google, or third party, security tools and product like antivirus company and all those companies, firewall companies. There's a lot of opportunities in this area, plus the growth is a lot of growth in those areas as well. And also you can work on customer side or some retail or consumer side companies also, because they also look for information security analysts. So if you have that, it's really going to help you. Architecture and design from security point of view, of course, then you need to understand how these network infrastructure devices, you have a DMZ, private network, all those kind of concepts come here. Plus the frameworks, they're NIST compliant and all that stuff you will be learning, I believe. As I said before, there are different zones: DMZ, extranet, intranet, all of them, VPN, sensors, proxies, software-defined network. And then you can implement security system design, which is very good. Let's say kiosk, mobile OS, definitely patch management. So yeah, it's very in-depth. Importance of secure staging, how you can stage different deployment concept. You just don't want to put the system directly into the production, so it has to go through some testing, some QA. So that what is talking about here. Embedded system could be your handheld device, could be an Apple Watch, could be a security camera at your home, IP camera, anything embedded system, that's the concept here that also needs to do related with security scanning for those operating system as well. Application development concept, the one thing I just got here is secure DevOps, or it's called DevSecOps. It's also in demand. So basically the API are very common. So this is the concept is applied here. Again, secure coding techniques. There are third-party tools available, so you don't really have to code. You just need to run those tools. They will scan, and it's another area itself. It will become a separate job in the near future, in my opinion. And here is just virtualization concepts, which is very good to know. As I told you before, A+ and Network Plus, important. And here also you need to know different deployment model, because cloud is a shared responsibility model. So you have SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid, and a community cloud. Here concepts are there. Resiliency, okay, so how do you do a fault tolerant network? High availability concept. RAID, yeah, pretty much today you don't do any RAID because everything is in the cloud. Scalability concept is also in the cloud taken by default, but again, from theory point of view, is good to know. Continuous monitoring is important as well here. And the physical controls, you cannot ignore them. You need to know all these. Identity and access management. This is another area itself. There are jobs available if you are that senior level, but for you starting it, yeah, something, you need to know the concepts. This is very well in demand, especially with the cloud and everything is in hybrid. So OAuth, OpenID Connect is not there. Okay, it's right there. Yeah, so that's good, very good information right here. And then all these scenarios are included here, which definitely is a must have based on the demand of the skill set in the market. Yeah, that's are all in demand. So after reading that, I can say that you cannot go wrong with this training or take the certification possibly. Yeah, that's really going to help you and also help you to learn other products and their certification. Risk management. Yep, when you put the data in the cloud, yeah, the risk evaluation and risk rating changes. So you need to know, companies want you to make sure you classify the data and all that stuff around those SLA, and there should be some standard and NDA and all that. This is very common, especially when it comes to cloud. So yeah, that's very important piece here. And there are some other stuff around business impact, BIA concept here, risk management process. As I said, whether you accept the risk, transfer the risk, avoid the risk, and mitigate. This is very common. Incident response team. Of course, you could be a part of SOC, Security Operations Center, something like NOC, which is Network Operating, and is a software or Security Operations Center. So you become a first line of support or second, depending, information security analyst. So that's where this area can help you in incident response procedure and part of that team. Basic concept forensics there, which is good. And DR and carry out data security and privacy, which is very, very important. This whole area can also help you in cloud security. So you definitely need to more focus in this area. I would say whole syllabus is pretty awesome, very well designed. Cryptography and PKI, you cannot ignore that. That's pretty hot in the market or for the cloud, because bring your own key concept, that's there, and how these stuff is secure in the cloud, data in transit, data at rest, all that stuff are being used today. When you go to the cloud, customer asks for this, company look for this. So having that understanding is really good. If you even have the concept as a starter, yeah, this is absolutely. And then you can learn these technologies, how to implement in Amazon Cloud, AWS, or Microsoft Azure, or Google, or any other platform and cloud providers. And these are the basic concept. This is more of a theoretical stuff about the wireless, how you configure secure wireless. I'm not going to go into the details. Public key infrastructure, as I told you before, companies do have their on-premises PKI infrastructure and all that stuff. So all the acronyms, everything here, you can scroll it down. And as I said before, this is really an awesome course. And the equipment they need, I'm not sure. Software to assist the candidate. Yeah, they have all these equipment, I believe. I'm not sure they're going to provide, but router, firewall. So yep. So who wishes to create a lab? So if you want to create the lab, you can literally create everything in the cloud, infrastructure as a service, AWS, Google, or Microsoft Azure. You can set up your router, firewall, anything from the marketplace, and you can play. So you have to invest in your lab. Some of the tools like this, you can have separate or free tools available. It depends how far you wanna take your learning. And yeah, if you're really good, do very good hands-on, you can put a Kali Linux on a VM, an Oracle Linux box or something. You can literally do a very good job, put a lot of hands-on and learn it, and definitely I can say, you cannot go wrong with that. So that's being said, let me know in the comments, and I'll be putting more details around this, and thank you.